We finally made it. The 244 GTK is loaded onto the Falken big rig behind me. This is easily one of the coolest things I have ever been a part of, and this thing is headed to GridLife, South Carolina here in like 3 or 4 hours. By the time this episode comes out, we're gonna see you guys in a couple of days, and I am so thrilled with how this car turned out. It's been so much work, so let's roll the clock back and show you all the work that it's taken to get to this point right here. I'm betting a lot of you guys forgot that the 244 GTK is bright yellow underneath that vibrant white and orange wrap. Honestly, I kind of forgot, but I was reminded once we spent a ton of time peeling the old livery off. It was kind of heartbreaking to do because we love it, but we are excited for what's to come. As I'm sure the thumbnail already gave away, this car's about to go through a complete transformation, and it is without question my favorite version of this car yet. But before we get there, there's still one major checklist item that we need to complete before this thing ships out for South Carolina, and that is tuning our new air shift system from ShiftTech. I installed all these parts in the last episode, so go back one and watch it if you haven't seen it yet, but what's left is to set up our shift strategy within the Haltech Nexus R5. Now we need to put the car on a roller dyno in order to accomplish this. The hub dyno over at Animal Auto that we're used to isn't the right tool for the job because it doesn't have inertia. And inertia is required to get the tuning correct. We've got to have throttle cut on upshifts and throttle blipping for downshifts and all sorts of safety parameters to set up, and we need the car to replicate what it's like actually driving on the road. This is going to get us close, but it's not going to be perfect. We're still going to have some tuning to do with the track, but this is a solid baseline. And here's your headphone warning. Here comes some dyno pulls. I don't know about you guys, but I think it's beyond cool just how smooth and fast those shifts are. I'm really excited to actually drive this thing on track. And before we get any further, yes, I think we do need to acknowledge the car looks absolutely ridiculous without its aero or fenders on it, but that was all part of the vinyl removal process, and it'll all go back on here in a few. With that said, the tuning session went really well. Andrew hopped on the phone with the team over at Haltech Australia to confirm all the data that we were seeing, and we think this thing is ready for track duty. Just like before, this thing is set up for no-lift upshifting, but it's now also set up for clutchless downshifting with automatic throttle blipping. It's gonna be incredible to experience behind the wheel, and while driving on track is gonna be very different, I at least did get to rip it up and down the street. Even at tame street speeds, this thing shifts so hard and so fast, I can't wait to actually experience it at Carolina Motorsports Park. With the tune done, we can actually consider this car more or less ready to leave minus its makeover, and clearly there's a lot of reassembly to do because, well, there's only about half of a 308 actually here at the moment. But it's good news because we loaded it up from SP Engineering's dyno and went straight over to the race studio. You might remember that name because, well, it's the team that wrapped this car with its original livery the first time around back in 2023 before our trip to Australia. So it was only fitting to return because they did such a good job the first time around, and this time we're going to do a very similar livery, but with a radically different color palette. Surprise, surprise. The new livery, of course, is still designed by our designer Blake Adams. He crushed it this time around as well, and I will say I already know the comments are probably full of folks saying it's sacrilege to pull that old livery off of this car. A lot of you really liked it, and we did too, trust me, but we've been looking at it for several years now, and it's time for a change. A new season of racing feels like a new opportunity to reinvent this car and give it a fresh start. We've been toying with the idea of what we've called quote-unquote dark mode of the previous livery because we do love the way the car looked, but I've also always thought that the 308 kinda has a bit of a stealth fighter look to it in overall shape and design, so we're embracing that with satin black and a touch of color. This time, from our friends at Falken instead of that blazing orange. Once you see the finished product, I'll be curious what you guys think, so let me know in the comments which version of this car you think looks better. But for me, this is definitely my favorite stage so far. Those of you that are really familiar with the old livery are going to notice a lot of similarities to this one. It really is meant to be an evolution of the same design, but with some important changes to embrace not only our new sponsors like Falken or Geon, but also to further embrace that stealth fighter look, and I think we nailed it. But with an overall revamp of the car, we're definitely not going to leave those white 5-spoke wheels if the look is supposed to be black and stealth. So, I'm excited to announce that StanceWorks and HRE are working together once again. Some of you may actually remember that StanceWorks worked with HRE to bring their vintage series of wheels to life 13 years ago. So it's only fitting that we're back, and this time we're turning our attention to their newer classic series. Now, they have a lot of options in this lineup that I know would look incredible on the 244 GTK, and it was a hard choice as I almost decided on the classic 303, but I'm going to make you wait for the big reveal here in a moment to actually tell you what I decided upon. Now, for those of you that want to see more of the wheel manufacturing process, we've got a lot more footage, and we're going to put together a brief segment on this for our Patreon subscribers, so if you want to support the channel or want more bonus content or just want to see what's going on behind the scenes, head over to patreon.com/StanceWorks. Once the team at HRE finished up our wheels, they hand-delivered them to Costa Mesa, which thankfully is only about an hour's drive away. Now, I'm guessing a number of you will relate to this feeling. It felt like Christmas morning for me. I think as car guys, there's nothing better than a new set of wheels, especially when they are custom built to your exact specs. For the wheel nerds and the curious, the fronts measure out to 18 by 10.5 with a +5 offset, while the rears are 18 by 12 ET0. And now for the moment that we've all been waiting for, the grand reveal. Our HRE 300s finished in gloss charcoal gray. So obviously, we want to see them on the car. First, of course, is a test fit to make sure our widths and offsets fit as they're supposed to. That's not on HRE's end, but rather mine, making sure that I gave them all the right dimensions, but thankfully, everything checks out. These things look ridiculous on the car, and we're all eager to see them with tires mounted, so I'm gonna make you wait. That's what comes next. For our tire mounting, we turn to our friend Eric at Rocco's Wheel and Tire. He's been on the channel countless times, and I'll sing his praises again. If you guys don't have a mobile tire guy, you need one. It's life-changing. No more runs out to scheduled appointments at the tire shop. He simply comes to us and knocks it out with care every single time. Our tire choice this time has been updated. This time we're moving up to Falken's RT660 Plus, but we're keeping the same dimensions, a 275/35 front and a 315/30 R18 rear. Knowing that we're going racing, Eric took some extra care and applied some tape to hold our wheel weights in place and keep them from going flying in a worst-case scenario. With the wheels all buttoned up and our tires mounted, we did one final test fit to make sure everything is going to work. And trust me when I say, this looks insane. All that's left is to see this car fully finished. So as you've probably realized at this point, our new title sponsor for the 244 GTK is Falken Tire. And along with them, I'm excited to bring Gion on board as our new detailing sponsor for this channel. The rest of the names on the 244 GTK you'll find are familiar. And it's thanks to all of them that we have an opportunity like this, to build this car and to take it racing, and to take you guys along with us for this journey. H&R, Haltech, HRE, VBOX, Send Cut Send, CSF, ShiftTech, TurboSmart, RS Future, RS Motorsport, Element, Rywire, and Lightbow all have helped to make this car what it is. Now, don't get me wrong, I loved the previous look of this car with version 1.0, but this revision in satin black with the stealth aesthetic is unreal. It has so much more presence than it did before, and I'm really excited for you guys to see it in person at GridLife or for these upcoming episodes as we put this thing through its paces. But the work's not over yet. There's still all of the finishing details, essentially a full nut and bolt check of the entire car to make sure it's actually ready for race duty. What I don't want is for this thing to come apart after we've put in all of this hard work the first time we put it out on track. That would be a disaster. Yeah, at this point, I think we've got most of the hardware under the car tightened. I've gone through and checked just like all of the motor mounts, every just piece of hardware I can find, everything on the suspension, the mounts for the coilovers, all the control arms, doing the brakes, the wheel hubs, just wanting to make sure it's all tight. We haven't loosened any of it. There's no reason that it shouldn't be. We've got kind of like markers on all of the bolts so we can tell if they loosen up. Everything looks really good, but of course, as you guys know at this point, it hasn't been out on track since November of 23, and that is crazy to me. So I just want to make sure that it's actually ready to go. I'm nervous again. There's that whole kind of, it feels like I'm driving it for the first time. It's been a long time. I'm gonna have to kind of relearn this car once again. And let's be honest, as we get to South Carolina, this kind of is just glorified testing. We haven't gotten the car out, and I wanted to test before we go, and we ran out of time despite pushing as hard as we can. We're gonna go out, we're gonna have fun, we're gonna turn some laps, and we're gonna start learning this car, we're gonna be refining it as always, and I'm excited for it, but first comes making sure that everything is tight and it's not gonna come apart on me. On top of the torque check, there's also just the fine details, making sure things like wires are all zip tied up and out of place, that nothing's going to come loose or rub as the tires start spinning and the suspension starts compressing. And these little details are easy to miss. There's undoubtedly going to be some that we find only once we put the car out on track, but that's just part of testing and racing. With everything given the once-over, it's time to finally dial in our VBOX installation. Now, what I'm working on right now is trying to get our VBOX system configured. I'm updating the track maps, I'm making sure that our cameras are positioned correctly, that we're getting a GPS signal, all that kind of stuff, and it seems to be working. I keep updating this SD card with updated files, and thankfully one of our Discord members, Raz, he's helping me out. I couldn't do this on my own. The only configuration that I'm trying to figure out now is to see if all of the CAN inputs, or outputs in this case, from the ECU are going to talk to the VBOX system and let you guys see what we're seeing as far as like RPM or throttle position or brake pressure. If I can get those to communicate, you'll see all the data. If not, we're kind of out of time. We'll have to update that for the second event, but either way, this is going to change the way all of our on-track content looks from here on out. It took a lot of tinkering to get everything to communicate properly and for Blake to completely custom design a one-off UI. But after a lot of work, we got everything finished up, and that means all that was left was to take this for its final test drive before it heads to South Carolina, of course, just to make sure our VBOX system works. Yeah, we need to do a lot of adjusting to our shock damping, but this thing looks incredible on the road. I flat out can't believe it. More important than the way that it looks, though, is that VBOX installation checks out, and I'm happy to say everything is working perfectly. Both cameras are recording, we've got beautiful sound, and Blake's custom UI is relaying all of the data flawlessly. I also think the style that Blake put into this is incredible, and you're not going to see it anywhere else. It will undoubtedly be more exciting once it's out on the track, but we just got to save that for the next episode. With that, everything on this car is wrapped up and it's ready to head to South Carolina. We loaded the car up and took it over to the Falken distribution center so that it can get loaded up onto Falken's big rig. And this in and of itself feels like a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and it's crazy to think this is going to be happening all season long. So I think with that, we are ready to go. I think the car is ready. I kind of wish we had that testing time I mentioned earlier, but it just didn't happen. South Carolina is going to be glorified testing for us, but I'm still stoked on it. What an opportunity, and I'm so thrilled to finally run a GridLife event with a car that's put together enough to do it. The guys at Falken taking this car there, especially in this big rig, this is amazing. What an awesome opportunity, partnership. I'm just thrilled. Like, we are truly going racing. This is what every kind of guy like me dreams of doing. This is incredible. So thank you to everybody that made this car and this whole project possible to get to this point. And also thank you guys for watching these episodes. I wouldn't get to do any of this without you, especially all of our patrons that support us on Patreon. You guys rock our Discord community. I mean, this is all because of you guys. I'm out here, I'm living my dream. I'm taking you guys with me. I'm really excited for our next episode once we are at GridLife in South Carolina racing this car. It's going to be some of my favorite content yet because of all of the work that's gone into it, our new VBOX setup, having this car work the way that it does. This is going to be sick. I'll see you guys next week. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't yet. Let's go racing.